So my hypothesis is that some of y'all have been so damaged, some of your childhoods have been so toxic that when you see a parent loving their kid, it's just like it gets y'all so infuriated.
Give me your wig. You don't know what to do with it.
And before we go any further, I just want you to know that I did a whole podcast episode about this and other topics on Tuesday. I'll let you listen to the intro of my podcast because I think it's hilarious.
In the expression justice system, bigoted-based offenses are considered especially heinous. Online, the dedicated draggers who investigate these vicious idiocies are members of an elite squad known as the Adrian Army. These are their stories.
So yeah, in the podcast, not only do we cover Dwyane Wade and Zaya, we also covered the fact that Michael Bloomberg got his ass dragged along with Amy Klobuchar. Talked about the Oscars, Ari Lennox, Birds of Prey, Cynthia Erivo, being black and gay at a PWI. A lot of topics were covered, so go ahead on over to patreon.com/AdrianExpression. Check it out. Let me know what you think. So as I'm sure many of you know by now, Dwyane Wade went on to The Ellen Show to promote his upcoming documentary. I think it's with ESPN. And he talked about a lot of things, but one of the things he focused on was his kid. And his kid was previously known as Zion, but now she says she wants to be referred to as Zaya. And this got a lot of people very angry, and I don't understand, because when you go onto like Gabrielle Union's social media and you see the video of Zaya speaking and how intelligent she is and how you can tell that both parents are trying to instill a sense of confidence in Zaya, trying to make sure that the evil and the bigotry in this world does not keep her down, does not discourage her or whatever. When you see all of that going on, I don't understand how you can look at that and be like, oh, the hatred rises up in you, or just like you want to get argumentative, or you want to start screaming at the top of your lungs, talking about, oh my God, kids, what do they know about sexuality? And it's crazy because we was like, the conversation wasn't even about sexuality, it was about gender. It was about Zaya's transness or whatever. And a lot of people just skip to sexuality. And even if we're going to address sexuality, because it seems like a lot of times y'all treat LGBT people, y'all treat LGBT children this way as well. Y'all like to act like they don't know what's going on with their selves, with their bodies, with their sexuality, whatever it is. And my thing is that if somebody walked up to your 12-year-old or 11-year-old ass and told your ass that you was gay or whatever, told your straight ass that you were gay, all of a sudden you'd be like, no, I ain't gay. And it's just, it's crazy. What do 12-year-olds know about this? The same shit that y'all knew about it when y'all were in grade school making fun of gay people. Like, what are you talking about? And people are like, oh, they need to keep this private. Why do they always come out here? It's like a publicity thing. No, because they're public figures. What are you talking about? And the fact they know that if their kid comes out as gay or trans or whatever, y'all are going to be on their dragging. It's going to be on the shade room. It's going to be everywhere. Y'all going to be dragging. So if it's done publicly, they have to push back publicly. They have to make sure that Zaya knows that her ass is not this crazy demonic figure that y'all are trying to make her out to be. I don't understand it. The arguments that y'all are using, I would much rather people say that I'm transphobic and homophobic and I don't want that bullshit near me. Like, that is a much clearer, much easier to understand argument than y'all, beating around this bush, okay? And I also think it's crazy that when LGBT people come out and say, you know what, I'm proud to be who I am, and of course that means a lot when you're living in a society that likes to be homophobic and transphobic. And these people come out and they're strong with it. A lot of people will say, oh my gosh, they're forcing that on us. They're forcing it on us. Meanwhile, a lot of those same people are forcing religion on their kids, and they don't see that as an issue, especially when a lot of these religions are telling these kids that they're going to be burning in hell. They don't think that that's traumatic, but someone standing up for themselves and saying that they're proud to be whoever they are, that's the thing that's dangerous. Girl, y'all are pathetic. A lot of people are the same ones with their young kids. If a girl is holding hands with a boy, all of a sudden, oh my God, look at his little girlfriend, look at my God. It's just like, do you not see who's really pushing an agenda? Okay, because when kids come out, y'all want their asses to get beat. When their fathers or mothers love them, it's just like, oh, how could you do that? You need to send his ass somewhere and get that shit straightened out. Who is really pushing an agenda? Okay, if your own children, especially some of these homophobic parents, your own children are scared to come and talk to you about what they're experiencing, what they're feeling. Who's pushing an agenda when your own flesh and blood don't feel comfortable around your ass because they are not the sexuality sexuality or the gender, whatever it is that you wanted them to be or trying to force them to be. Who's really pushing an agenda? And it's crazy because after all of the oppression and after all of, you know, people getting kicked out their homes and out their families, after people not being able to find housing or getting discriminated against in employment, it's just like when we say, hey, accept us, see us, and value us as the human beings that we are, that is some type of crazy ass conspiracy. It's what is it? What they be saying? To feminize the black man. That's an agenda. And these will be some of the same, and I guess I'm speaking specifically to some of the homophobic black people. It's just like these will be the same ones who will want us to have a bigger discussion about racism, who will want us to have a bigger discussion about sexism and shit, and not seeing that they are enacting the same the same characteristics as any majority group who's being bigoted. So, you know, I would rather someone say, hey, I don't understand these issues, and especially when there is like scientific fucking research being done, especially when there are people dying to tell you their stories and you're just ignoring them or acting like their stories don't matter, especially if they're black LGBT. You know, I'd much rather someone say, I don't understand these issues, and as someone who's probably not a part of the community, I don't get it. Help me understand it. I would rather someone say that than be completely dismissive. And I know that when I was a younger gay kid, I did not completely understand transness, and I said this in my podcast, I still am learning about it as well, but what the hell do I look like as a whole ass gay man who knows how it feels to be ridiculed, how it feels to be rejected, you know what I mean, ostracized? What the fuck do I look like taking part in any type of transphobic ass mindset? That's ridiculous. And so, you know, I feel that as a gay man, and so I'm looking around at all these black people who know how it feels to be discriminated against, oppressed by a system, and I'm just like, whoa, like what Zaya's going through can't be that foreign to y'all. Like, come on now, get your shit together, get it together. And then I remember a couple people getting mad at me because I was talking about that HBO show Legendary and how, you know, I was talking about the backlash that certain people were getting because they were judges and they were not a part of the community. And it's just like, every time I see reactions like this coming from people who are not a part of the community, I use these moments to remind myself that I'm not crazy. You know what I mean? Especially because, like, y'all cannot be sitting here having these types of literally homophobic, transphobic reactions and then want to turn around and profit off of the culture. That's why a lot of people who are part of the black LGBT community are so protective of their culture, because when shit hits the fan, you get to see what people really think. And then some of these people will be the same ones making money off of the shit they hate, off of the shit they disrespect all the time. It doesn't make sense to me. Every time these issues come up, I always wonder, like, how many black boys and black girls could have been saved if they were met with the same type of deliberate care, the same type of consideration, the same type of acceptance that Gabrielle Union and Dwyane Wade are giving their kids. You know what I mean? This is coming from Zaire. And he said, I will lay down my life to make sure that you're comfortable, make sure that you're good. And he's talking about Zaya. So every time this homophobic, transphobic reaction, this vitriol comes out of a lot of the black community, I wonder how many of our youth could have been saved if they did not have to go through life experiencing the type of shit that is similar to what I'm seeing online. I wonder how many black lives could have been saved. Y'all talk about Black Lives Matter, and every time something like this happens, y'all want whoever comes out to be beat up, y'all want them to be indoctrinated, y'all want them to be brainwashed, y'all want them to be erased. And I mean, so many people talking about, oh, that couldn't be my kid. And even with all the statistics about depression and anxiety in the LGBT community, black LGBT community specifically, even with all the black LGBT youth who have died by suicide, like even with all that information available to a lot of people, they don't care. What that tells me is that they would much rather have a dead kid than one who is a member of the LGBT community. And that right there is fucking sadistic, and it's sad. And a lot of people try to disguise their homophobia or transphobia by implying that they care about the kid's well-being. Her sexuality is something we gotta fix. Her transness is something we gotta fix. And so by fixing, they imply ripping pieces of her personality away from her, and like I said before, indoctrinating her into some phobic shit that they were brainwashed themselves to get into. That's not caring for someone's well-being or mental health, girl. What are you talking about? And a lot of people are acting like Dwyane Wade and Gabrielle Union are they're just letting Zaya do whatever the hell she want to do. No, obviously they're doing a whole lot of research, they're looking into stuff, they're making sure that she feels as comfortable as possible, they're taking care of her, they're talking to her. So it's just like, worry about your own kids that y'all have strained relationships with. I hate this stupid argument that kids as young as 12 or whatever don't know what's going on. Meanwhile, y'all knew enough in grade school to be making fun of the LGBT community. Y'all knew enough as kids in elementary school. I will always say this. I was called gay in elementary school before I even knew what that shit was. So y'all not even going to, y'all not, that's a weak ass argument, okay? Because if these kids know enough, they know enough about the LGBT community to make fun of it, okay? Because y'all, that's exactly what y'all taught them. Homo this, homo that, gay this, gay that. If they can be taught that shit about the LGBT community, they can be taught something else. They can be taught something accepting. They can be taught something loving. And it's crazy because all our asses, all our black LGBT asses know that that part of our personality is just a part of our personality. Like, nobody's asking what we're interested in, what we like to do, what movies we want to watch, what books we like to read. No, it's just, oh, sexuality, and we're never bigger than that. Nothing. It's just we're reduced to that. A lot of people do not approach the LGBT community with a sense of humanity. It's either where they're accessories, oh my god, let's go shopping, girl, yes, oh my god, hurt my purse, can you do my hair? Or it's outright overt homophobia and transphobia. Aren't y'all tired of living in that inefficient ass bubble? It's getting you nowhere fast. I don't know why a lot of people are acting like Dwyane Wade and Gabrielle Union need y'all help raising their own kids. You know what I mean? I think that y'all would be better off focused on your kids, because a lot of people have relationships with their children that are very surface level because these children cannot be their actual selves in front of their parents, and so you have a relationship that doesn't mean shit with your kid. So some people would really rather have that. They would really have this nothing ass relationship with their kids, where their kids just are the puppets pretending to be something so they can get your approval, and you will live and die never knowing who your kid actually was. And I don't see what the alternative is. Is the alternative when your kid comes out, whether it's gay or trans, is the alternative to say, no, get the fuck out my house? I mean, I guess y'all been doing that, so it's I don't know why I'm acting surprised. No, get the fuck out my house, beat they ass. You think that creates love and a beautiful family home? You think that's something that's logical to do? Instead of saying, even if you have no idea what the LGBT community is at all, instead of saying, hey, I don't know what you just told me, but we're gonna sit down and work through it together. Well, why is that not seen as the most logical, reasonable way to approach this situation? Y'all got a lot of work to do, and we cannot be sitting around here pretending that, oh yeah, Black Lives Matter, when you're leaving out a whole segment of them. And then it's crazy because people will shame people for staying in the closet, and then when they fucking around in y'all marriages in and out, you know what I mean? When they have whole ass secret boyfriends and they got a family with you, it's like, oh, that's so evil. How can anyone do that? No, y'all need to change the way you approach coming at the LGBT community for real, especially the black community, if you want any of that bullshit to disappear. And that's just on period. Y'all got a lot of motherfucking work to do, especially if you are talking about trying to be this freedom fighter. Oh, we got a liberal, progressive. A lot of y'all motherfuckers ain't that progressive. And I'm not saying that you have to understand everything. That's not the point. The point is put some respect on these motherfuckers' name. That's it. Okay? Because you know how it feels to be fucked over as a minority. Why are you sitting up here pretending? Okay? If you don't understand, say that. And don't be condescending. Learn something, do a quick Google search, and maybe you'll get some answers. And I'll leave with this. There is absolutely no way that you can disagree with who someone is, okay? You can't disagree with the fact that I'm gay. You can't disagree with the fact that somebody's trans, because that's what they actually are. How stupid would I sound if I said I disagree with the fact that y'all are straight? What does that even mean? Get it together and learn something, or just admit that you're homophobic and transphobic. Because if you claim to care about these kids' well-being, but at the same time you want them to get beat up or torn down when they come out, then you don't actually care. It's given very much enforce my bigoted views no matter who gets hurt or trampled in the process. Y'all are serving Trump administration realness, and I want you to stop the stupidity, okay? On that note, make sure that y'all asses are having a good goddamn evening.